Hello, welcome to episode 15 of Lost in Immersion, your weekly 45-minute stream about innovation. As VR and AR veterans, we will discuss the latest news of the immersive industry. And I really wonder what we'll be talking about because there is absolutely no news this week. Uh, Joke about, of course, we'll be talking about the latest Apple VR or AR headset we don't know or people don't really know. So first of all, what's your first impression of this, Fabien, Seb?
Um, I when I first looked at the page and the video and the announcement, um, I had doubts of what they were able to achieve. Um, but after looking in more detail, I really think it's a very smart move from Apple. So maybe I have a bit of controversial opinion here. Well, I think it's really well done, and I can go into details if you want as to why. I think it's really well done. Um, but yeah, that's so a first impression of, and then after looking into the details and thinking about it, I think it's really good device and a really good product placement from Apple.
Seb?
Kind of the same. And in terms of details, we'll go into details, but I think there's a couple of things that is a bit of an issue for the use case we were thinking about using it. So a bit disappointing about those choices they made, but apart from that, I think it's a nice device, and I would like to test it soon.
Well, for my part, I guess I had the same feeling as you because I saw the entire presentation as well. So first of all, I saw because I took a bet with some friend of mine that they won't be announced completely the device on Monday. So I saw the whole conversation, and the the more the time passed, the more I said I was guessing. Yes, I won my bet, and they want to be announcing it. So yeah, first of all, why wait so long for this announcement? Because it was so boring, and especially they didn't have that much innovation, despite that the announcement of this device. So that's the first point. And then when the the progression of this announcement, first of all, I thought that well, they are just doing this assisted reality we are talking about. We have been talking about in the past few weeks, like Nreal or Xreal and all those competitors, because they were just talking about this screen that you can have uh, placed in the room for you to see your TV or whatever. And the more the presentation went, and we saw that it was more than that. So it was a bit of a relief. And yeah, like you, Fabien and Seb, just after this presentation, I was like, why? Yeah, why not? Then I was excited, like on like yesterday, and we can have now a lot of people that tested this device for real, and they have a lot more feedback than we had or technical information that we had previously with just the presentations. And with this information, going back to the is it really that good? Uh, so Fabien, you said that you like this strategic or marketing placement of the device. So can you tell us more about this?
Yeah. Um, so um, if we assume that there are long term strategy is to have more and more adoption of such devices, um, and to like open a completely new market and to drive adoption of uh, a lot of users. Um, Assuming that, I think it's really well done, because if they had focused their presentation on, you know, I don't know, complex industrial usage or fancy games, or, you know, I don't know, metaverse, or with synchronized avatar or whatever, um, it would not have appealed to someone that didn't try VR yet or AR yet. But here, you know, okay, I can look um, at my desktop with more freedom. I can look at it into my space. I can play games. I can watch movies. So this is a more like concrete usage for that many people can refer to. And on top of that, the device seems to be really high end in terms of hardware. So good sensors, very good camera, very good lenses. So the combination of a very high end device with really usage that everyone can relate to, I think this is the good way to go to drive adoption of XR, AR, MR. We can discuss what name to use, but yeah, that's why I think it's a really good marketing move.
About the strategy and the marketing.
I agree, but on a different point of view. I think on the pricing, it's quite high to to buy for a user that is a standard. So they are really more targeting the industry and with that kind of price. And therefore, they are like competing with Vario in terms of product. And the Vario is like twice that price. So not having that kind of demo when they launch it kind of show that they are targeting wealth audience, people that have a lot of money, with only TV and VR device, not a lot of augmented reality use case right now. But that's the way Apple are always advertising on their device. They announce it and then they left the time to the developer to create some demo and some application on it and release some videos through time. So when the device is available, there is a huge catalog of applications. So maybe that will come later.
Well, I completely agree with that. Indeed, on this price versus the use cases they presented, I wanted myself that are they doing like the Magic Leap mistake when Magic Leap just promoted their AR headsets for entertainment, art, and a bit of gaming, and with a price tag of which is still high today. And a few years after that, they asked themselves, "Well, it's very strange. We don't have any customers, and people are not using it the way we thought." And now they switch back to the industry and professional. And I think this is quite the same. Apple is used to create great interfaces and designs for the mainstream population, and they have a strong community around that. and they did like they're doing with all their products. And the fact here is that I'm not sure, even if their hardcore community is ready to spend that kind of money for something that, as you said, Fabian, is not that anchored in our lives. It's a completely new device for most people, and people don't really understand this yet, as I read on some mainstream publication and articles. They are still messed up with VR, AR, and whatever, so they are kind of not really getting what it is made for. Uh, so yeah, there is a disconnect, I guess, between what they presented, which is very good, as you said, Fabian, because they completely erased all the complicated or technical parts of what would mean VR. It's a very simple use cases that people can understand. Um, the other thing that I found very interesting is that they are they are presenting their device as something for communication between humans. They want to break the idea that we talked about also a few weeks back, that VR is seen as something that isolate people, and it's for just yourself, and your view is completely blocked with the device, and you don't know what people are doing with this. And by this front screen, which is like it's most cosmetic, or but it has this sense of the device is not completely closed, and you can see others and interact with others, contrary to the VR headsets right now. So there are like starting to build a war between the VR competitors and their view of this kind of devices, and it's pretty smart to try to, like, we are not like the other, and once again it's a typical strategy for Apple to cultivate this difference between them and the others. And of course the price is one of these points as well. So we have the Quest 3 which would be around 600 USD, and you have them with a very high price and very high quality headset. So yeah, they are just trying to differentiate themselves from the competition. Fabien, with this human reflection that I know you like.
Yeah, I and just by the way, your video switched to
Yeah,
an
yeah.
old. Yeah, thanks. Um, One thing that I don't know if this is a correct comparison to do, but if we look at the Macintosh like 40 years ago, or a bit less than 40 years ago, it was a very high price for that time. Um,
The
and
Apple Watch as
I,
well.
yeah, um, so maybe what Apple want to say is that it's not a computer, it's not a watch, it's really like a completely new different device, and that like maybe yes, this version will be only for a few wealthy persons and for professional like us, but maybe their end game is to decrease the price with the future versions and to drive adoption that way. Um, I don't know.
That,
Yeah, for me, many things they, like you said, Guillaume, they did the same as Meta, but also as all the HoloLens, Microsoft HoloLens. The first time the HoloLens was released, they released it with games and advertised about those games, but it was never sold as a a device that you could buy for yourself at home. So they change also their target on the second version and really targeted only the pro and the industrial use case for this one. And one thing that bothers me with the headset is also the fact that it's really personal. You need to make your own personal adjusted. Can't remember the name of that. The foam part that you put in front of
Oh
it.
yeah. Mm.
And also you have to buy prescription lenses. So it's really
And
a
the
personal
battery.
device and battery.
Batteries are not included.
So that makes that difficult to use for industry, I think, because when you have in an industry, you won't have your own personal device, and everyone will have their own. If you would share the device together, and here with this strategic choice, it makes it tough to share it. If you have to change every time the prescription lenses, the foam, and make one for everyone. Yeah, that makes the war a bit strange for me to say it this way.
Yeah, apparently this customization will be done in the Apple stores. So I don't know how they can manage this as well, because they would have to have a completely new line of people getting their if this is a success. Yeah. So I'd like to bring some of the technical specifications that are coming out because of the people trying them out yesterday and today, I guess. So first of all, something that surprised me a bit is the weight. People are complaining about the weight of the headsets because of the materials used, because it is metal and glass, and for people that are used to use VR headsets, they found it very heavy on the nose. Because at some point the leaks were talking about carbon fiber headsets because of the luxurious design, and indeed the weight loss and the weight the overall weight of the device. So do you think this is a good idea to stick to the Apple design with glass and metal and impact the weight and the comfort of the headsets, or should have them gone to the carbon fiber side and keep this luxurious style, but keep the weight low as well?
Yeah. Is it a good idea? I'm not sure. One thing that seems obvious once you say that is this is why the battery is external. Like if they even had the battery in the headset, that would be even more weight on the head. So that's one thing. And um, yeah, I think seems obvious for the hardware that the hardware and materials, like they put the top quality on everywhere. Maybe we will talk about the sensors and everything else, but yeah, it's very interesting to see.
Seb, you're not.
Yeah, personally, in all the headset I tried, there's different weight, etc. But the main thing for me that differs and make a device comfortable is more the balance than the weight itself. And here, they don't have anything on the back, so everything is on the front, and of course goes on your nose. And when I tried the Quest Pro or the HoloLens, where the battery is on the back, everything is balanced. So the weight is not an issue. It's really more the balance, having your head always going back on the bottom, because you have all the weight on the front of your head resting on your nose is not comfortable. But having battery on the back usually help. At least that's what I see on the Quest Pro and the HoloLens 2. And here I think it's really a bad choice to have put the battery on an external cable. With the Magic Clip, we have this kind of similar functionality with the, it's more the CPU, etc. that it's external, but it does the same of having a cable that is resting on in you, on yourself. And so you are always limited in your movement and it's really a pain. And also having only 2 hours of battery.
Yeah, I was coming to that. And I guess it is that they are talking about not integrating the battery into the headsets for weight or whatever justification, but I guess they did an external battery for this problem because right now, as you said, it's only 2 hour, which is completely not compatible with the use cases they presented because right now all the movies are more than 2 hours, so you won't be able to see any kind of movie in its entire length. So it makes no sense, and I guess they did the external battery because they are praying for new generation battery maybe next year, and they could replace just this module without changing the device in its integrity, and it matches what Fabian says about the longevity of the headsets. They are willing to keep it as long as possible, and this element that is the battery is basically the weakness of most of the autonomous headsets, and this is a very smart move for that because you can keep your headset and just upgrade your batteries. But yeah, for a launch, official launch, and have only 2 hours, it reminded me of the Google Glass launch when the 2 hours were more like a 1.5 hour of intense use and or 1 hour, and yeah, it's not matching the expectation of this kind of headsets.
Yeah, and to nuance a bit, the usage that they presented are, I think, mostly in couch or on the desktop, on the desk, sorry. So for this usage, you can be plugged in. But yeah, I agree with you. If you're, I don't know, if you want to watch a movie in the plane or whatever, 2 hours is pretty low.
Yeah, about the plane, I guess everyone identify with this when you are looking at testers and everyone, the plane use case, they really did hit on that, and I think people are just because of this use case are very excited with this, and some people said that probably on the on the business or high-end planes, you could have this device for rental or available at your seats. So I guess they should have a market there at some point.
Yeah, I'm curious about the sound as well, because if I understood correctly, it's not like AirPods, it's more like a module that is on the band. So I don't know how that will work. I'm very curious to. It's one of the innovation that I'm really curious to test, see
Well,
how it
yeah,
works.
they said it could be connected with all the Bluetooth devices. So I guess at some point you can connect your AirPods, and with the noise cancellation and so on, they announced it could be a great match as well. Still, the
Okay.
Apple ecosystem, I can't see them not connecting the AirPods to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, about
yeah,
about the ecosystem, we were
yeah.
wondering about if they will provide a way to code directly on the device, and it seems like they went to another way to be able to connect directly to your computer, to your Mac, and have directly the screen displayed on it, but use still the power of your Mac to create your application. that's also a weird move for me. I'd rather prefer having the device itself being a Mac, or being able to replace a Mac, but it doesn't seem to be the case right now.
Well, yeah, it has computation power of a Mac because it has the M2 processor, and
Mm.
but they didn't talk about. Yeah, I guess the storage is on your iCloud, but we don't have any information about the memory and stuff like that. And are you able to run some of their most famous software on this? I guess each could be limited. But yeah, the use case is that you have your Mac next and close to you, and it
Mm.
will be your computation power for you to work. I don't have much information on that. I don't know if you have more. But the technical specification on the computation power is not available yet, despite the fact that it has two processors.
Mm.
Yeah. Maybe related to that, we can discuss a bit about Unity and
Yeah.
so the game engine Unity,
Mm.
which seems to be the choice of Apple for creating experiences for the Vision Pro, um, which is not so surprising. Um, like uh, choosing between Unity or Unreal Engine, knowing like Epic Games, the creator of Unreal Engine, sued Apple 2 years or 3 years ago. I think it's a nice.
Revenge.
I don't know if it's nice, but a revenge from Apple. Yeah. So it's like take that, Epic Games. But I think Unity is a very good platform, and hopefully this is back to the initial impression of having kind of um, not super complex usage, having support of the Unity on that headset will help create really complex experience, complex games, hopefully. I was really happy to hear that.
I would have loved to see an announcement where you can launch directly Unity in the headset and work directly in the editor in the headset. But maybe
Yeah.
later, we'll see.
Yeah, but about Unity, I don't know if you saw the stock market prices, but Apple didn't move that much. So, not unlike Nvidia, which had a very big bounce or increase just a few hours after the launch of the presentation of their new technology. Apple didn't make that bound that increase, but Unity did. They increased like 17%, which is huge for their for their stock market price. So I hope you have some placement there. But it was the good news for them. I think people really will react to that announcement because in fact it's a huge announcement for Unity. Uh, yeah, they are very active on this partnership and bringing up new technologies inside their editors like ChatGPT in the next iteration. And yeah, we it's a good news for everyone to have
Mm.
this kind of partnership. Yeah, yeah. We but about partnership. I would like to have your insight about the Disney partnership they announced. And people are not talking about this that much yesterday and today. It kind of went in the in the shadow, but I thought that the Apple presentation of the device were very controlled and limited to use cases, and they were just projecting the things that they knew were possible. And when we switched to Disney, we went completely off track, and it feels like the whale presentation of Magic Leap when people are saying what we can do with that, and they are just completely they went completely crazy about this and showing augmentation of the body and stuff
Mm.
everywhere on your in your room. So what do you think about this? Is this too much, or that because they were using the conditional every time we could do that. It should be nice if we had that, but yeah, well, it reassured me that nobody is talking about this.
Yeah, yeah, I think indeed it's like a future, like what it could be. But as I think we talked about that in a previous episode, Disney, um, what they do is they tell stories. So I think they told a story as well in the presentation.
Mm.
Um, but it's um, I'm I would be very curious to see what's what's after a movie. Like, can they tell a story, a special story, to take their word? Um, I'm 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 very curious to see. Yeah, yeah.
Seb, any thoughts about this?
Yeah, the same as you. The video was very fake and very Magic Leap like the whale. So disappointing about that. And overall, inside the war presentation, it was missing for me a lot of inside view of what you really see inside the headset. Now there is some feedback on how the pass-through is and how is the quality of the pass-through. So it seems to be good and quite impressive. So that's nice to have those kind of feedback of user. But from the video itself, from the presentation itself, it was not clear. And yeah, specifically on this part with Disney, it was really like a nice video, a nice fake video. And I really wonder also what they will do with the technology in terms of augmented reality experiences. They know how to tell a story, but that's a new medium. And after tested a lot of scenarios and augmented reality experience, I know that it's really tough to prepare to all the behavior the user will have inside the scenario and have a storytelling around that. It's quite complex. If you had some interaction, same, they need to be controlled, calibrated, guided. So it's a whole new way of interacting with the user compared to a movie or a 3D movie or whatever, or even a game, a 2D game that you play on your console. So yeah, I really wonder how where they will go, and I think they will take time to achieve their goal and find the right way of interacting with the user.
Well, about the lenses and the technical optical specification, we have some more information about this, and people that tried the headsets are saying that the image is not that clear. They felt that the image was blurry, and the next thing is that the field of view is not complete. You have some blackened space around your eyes, and it confirmed my fear when I saw the rendering of the headsets, because they are talking about uh, stem size screens. So it's a very small screen with very dense pixel resolution in them, and I thought about myself that lenses couldn't compensate this lacking of screen size, and indeed, it's not the case. So we don't have the official specification, which is strange because now it's like a marketing presentation of the field of view and of the headsets, and we don't have any information about this. So I'm a bit yeah, I'm a bit scared about this to know the real field of view of these headsets, and yeah, and the colors are not as sharp as they should have been. They are a bit darker than the reality. So you have this again this disconnect between the reality and the video see-through. So it's not perfect. It's one of the best rendering you could have on the market right now. So they still upgrade their game there, but it's not the game changer that we could have expected. Meaning that we could have this whole field of view covered.
In terms of comparison, did you see anything about a person comparing to the Vario in terms of pass-through?
No, the Vario is still confidential. I mean, and people that were invited to test the Apple headsets are on the mainstream side, so they don't have this kind of comparison. The only stuff they can compare to is the Quest Pro, and of course on this side it's a completely new level. So it would have been nice to hear someone that tried the Vario and this one as well to see exactly what the difference is. Maybe in the next few months when less famous people could have access to this and more technical ones. Fabien, anything about this?
I don't have much to add on that topic. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So now, next topic about the Visio conference team meeting and so on. So when they presented the first video of the headsets, they show one person interacting with her colleagues in a team meeting, and I don't know the platform for Apple for that well. And I thought, yeah, it's great, but what the others are seeing, and it was okay. So and they answered this question a bit later, yeah. And the 3D scans and avatar animation is very interesting, but unfortunately we have two different feedback on that. More on the mainstream media says it's very good, the animation is great, and you really have the feeling of having a PS5 character talking to your colleagues. And when you're talking about more technician or people that are more aware of what is what you can do with the avatars today, they are talking about not so realistic and maybe uncanny avatars that are a bit cringy for quote unquote. And the idea is there. Unfortunately, I guess the 3D scans is not that advanced yet, and it matches the Google Starline we talked about two weeks ago, I guess. And I guess the 3D scan avatar animation or video stream merging will be something that we'll see in the next few months, because companies are like aligned to this technical specification. Yep. Fabien?
Yeah. It's really it's really nice to see how they thought about that. Say, okay, having someone with a headset in a meeting is a bit weird, so we will replace it with a scan. Um, I so I indeed the first feedback from technical people is that it's not maybe as best as it could be. Um, I'm on the hopeful side because there are a lot of software part into that. So of course the sensors are important, but maybe in the next month, years, with the progress of AI and software, we can have an improvement on that side. Um, but it's kind of similar to the outward screen. It's trying to find solutions for the people in the headset feeling isolated, and the people outside of the headset feeling that they cannot really connect with the person in the headset. So I'm really curious to see how that evolves in real time, in real use case. And if we want to move to the, like, in the presentation there are I think it's a family and they take pictures
Yeah.
with the headset. That's kind of, um, I don't
This
know.
is the other cringy part of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people are saying, yeah, you can. It's your birthday, and you have your dad moving around with the headset and taking photos. It's completely weird.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's weird in the way that people are not used to this, but if we consider in the future
Yeah.
these headsets as our cell phones or smartphones, it won't be that weird because people will be using this on an everyday basis, and yeah, people will have masks all around, so it won't be that cringy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in terms of eye tracking, they
Mm.
really improve the game there. And they seem to have really a very
Yeah,
good.
there are things. This is the best eye tracking they ever
Mm.
tried. So yeah.
And they are basing all the interaction with that and gesture, but really simple end gesture to make it make not the user move everywhere and be able to do that for several hours without having
Yeah,
to rest their arms.
they learned the lesson of
Mm.
HoloLens, and you have to
Mm.
pick in front of the headsets. Apparently, you
Equal
can
out.
have your hand very close to you and just
Mm.
do this. So on the hand fatigue, it's great.
Mm.
So we can bounce on the capture side that Fabien was willing to talk about. But yeah, they put cameras all around,
Mm.
and apparently they, they, they understood that we are not meant to do the minority report interaction all day, so we have to rest our arms. So
Mm.
Fabien, if you have anything, yeah, it's
I just have a question
yeah.
still on the eye tracking. Do you think they are using only that, the position of the pupils, to create the avatar movement, or they use another camera?
They have cameras facing your lower part of the face, so they know when you are talking, smiling, and whatever. So they are merging this information with your eyes, and apparently they can provide some emotional or animation. I guess they talked about machine learning, so maybe you have some kind of yeah, calibration or something of your avatar to then to understand what you're doing with your face and replicate it on your avatar.
Because they don't have the
Yeah.
eyeball, right? The eyeball is not an information they can provide accurately.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They
there is
have like captors all around plus some LED illumination around for them to project the vision of your eye in front of the headset.
Mm.
So you should have
yeah, there
the whole eye movement and so yeah. Sorry, Fanny.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry. When you, it seems like when you will first use the headset, you will have to put it and turn it towards you, and they will scan the face with the depth sensor. So maybe this is how they create the first digital avatar,
Mm.
and then animate with the other sensors. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so just a little inside joke. Do you think this would be the rebirth of 3D video or 3D movies because they presented Avatar inside of this, and as it is capable of stereoscopy, maybe we'll see a resurgence of 3D movies, or do you think this is completely dead?
Um, that's a very good question because they so of course, yeah, they present movies, but they also, as we discussed a bit, they present a way for the user himself to create,
Yeah.
to take pictures, to take
Yeah. All the pictures
so
and movies are stereoscopic if you want to relive
yeah,
your souvenir or what you did with the
yeah.
headset.
So I don't know. Maybe with the partnership with Disney, uh, it will uh, it will get 3D movies back on track. I don't know.
But yeah,
I think
still, if you want your whole family to see the movie all together, it's you'll have to sell your car or your house. Okay, this was just a light subject on this. And finally, I guess,
or
yeah,
there
just
could be like theater that opens up
mm,
with only headsets and then people use their headset. But because it's custom, that make it very tough to deploy this way.
yeah, we could see a new way of doing theater in blank spaces, just with seats and
Mm,
headsets. We don't have. It could be a gain of space and rental price for them, for example.
mm.
Yeah. So
And for
last
time, you can.
question. Yeah, last question for us, because why didn't they tell us that it could be compatible with VR? Um, I guess Fabien has one part of the question because they don't want to mess people around with all these technical aspects. But I guess we all agree that this headset is capable of VR because it has all the technical aspect of it. And I think at some point they could have announced a game changer or a game killer by doing by saying that we can do all this all at once. And we lost seven.
No, no, I'm here. My
Okay,
camera
okay,
went off.
okay, great. So yeah, why not? And I was thinking about this. I'm telling you my interpretation of it is because as they don't want any peripheral or interaction devices because they're all based on your eye tracking and your hands. By doing this, they are just closing the VR market and VR games and so on. And I think this is uh, at some point quite dangerous because when you are reading the comment on the VR community, they are just saying, yeah, well, they can't support VR games, so I won't buy these headsets. So they are closing. They are not exploiting or using this VR community of gamers that have some. They have money because they are buying like VR headsets every 3 months, and they are collecting them. And I think this is strange, and apparently people ask the question of doing VR devices or VR controllers, and Apple completely shut the door on that. So it's very weird. They could have had a completely free market by doing this, and they really don't want to go that way. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a very it's a bit strange. One way to explain that is, I think I already mentioned it, is because they want to drive adoption. Showing VR is maybe a bit um, frightening to some people. I mean, to the general public. Um, but at the same time, the press is already confused because I saw some articles saying, "Oh, the new Apple VR device is out."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
they
oh,
are not. They don't understand what the device is doing. It's VR, mixed reality, and whatever. So it's
maybe
people
that's
are
good.
completely messed up. Yeah. What?
Yeah, maybe that's good
Mm.
in a way. So not using complex or buzzworthy words, and instead having a much simpler way to explain it. Um, but yeah, I totally resonate with you. A bit disappointed on that side of the spectrum of XR technologies. Yeah.
It reflects in the name of the device, Vision Pro. They don't have any XR, AR, VR, or whatever
Mm.
new terms they could have invented. I think the name is is not exciting at all. Vision Pro, it's just my math about this, but yeah, they could have done something more original, I guess, but why not?
I think they did the same with the watch.
iVision Pro.
The phone, they take only the functionality and put a Pro behind or an Apple in front. Or
Yeah,
an
but
I.
I'm not an Apple boys, but since the disappearing of Steve Jobs, they are not calling any new device I, or am I wrong? They are talking about Apple Watch and Apple
Mm.
Vision Pro,
Mm.
and maybe AirPod. Yeah, it's not iPod or wait, whatever. But the I is not there anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
I guess Tim Cook is willing to provide his own heritage on the on the Apple brand. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. But yeah, the VR part, I really don't understand why they are not going that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact
maybe I thought, but maybe they don't want to be linked to the Meta fiasco and the metaverse and VR side as well.
That's possible, yeah.
like, even though having some force feedback with the controller is quite nice with a
Mm-hmm.
VR or AR, IR device. So yes, are losing also this kind of interaction that you can have
Mm-hmm.
with controllers. Are they coming
Yeah.
later with gloves or glove solution or stuff like that? You see rings that you put on your fingers.
Yeah,
Because
there was
that's
some
really missing.
feedback about this. People, you have a demo with a butterfly coming on your hand, and people said that at this point it was like breaking the immersion because you don't have any feedback on this, and yeah, it can break the presence you could have in this kind of environment. But at this point, well, what could you use about despite gloves and but I don't think Apple will go that way either because it would mean non comfortable or easy to use devices. It's very specific to us technical VR specialists. Okay, I guess I've done all my list on this. Maybe we'll have more information during the week. Do you have any more to say, or did you see anything that we didn't cover?
About the release date, maybe?
Oh, next year, yeah.
Yeah, early next year, so it's not even defined yet, and it's only
Mm-mm.
in the US. Only in
Yeah.
the US at the beginning, so we are far from having one to play with.
Yeah, I guess they are kind of matching what I heard, meaning that they were not willing to send the devices until September this year for developers to start doing things with it. I guess they are testing the market as well, seeing what people are thinking about the device, getting their feedbacks, and hopefully they'll upgrade the device for next year, especially for the lenses or the battery. I guess the battery thing is the thing that people are very scared of, and that it should be answered with something better than that because well, the battery itself is very small and it's better form factor than the Magic Leap one because it's rectangular and just for that you can put it in your pocket, which you can do with the circular big puck you have with the Magic Leap. So we'll see what they bring, but yeah, it's a very long time before getting this in our hands. So they are on safety mode on this.
And it leaves them time to have more application developed by developers specific and maybe specialists in that area of expertise.
Yeah, oh yeah, Yeah, something we don't talk about is that the application presentation they did. Apparently, they gave some of this prototype to some dev teams, and they show virtual art for medical. And we know that this kind of use cases don't it simply doesn't work because we've done this for years, and yeah, you have a Formula One, which is not that most interesting, but they announced a partnership with PTC for the industrial side, which were very surprising, I guess, for this kind of presentation. It's very specific, but yeah, they were opening the door for industrial, and I think this was a very nice move there. But yeah, I was not very uh, usually Apple, when they are doing technical demonstration, they are breaking the game, and it was very usual stuff we have already seen in VR and AR, and was kind of disappointed with that, meaning that developers that got this in hand were not able to do something very creative or impressive. So I'm not so sure about this. Maybe the SDK was not that advanced at this time, and we'll see what developers could do. But yeah, I'm not
Or,
very.
or it's a choice for a marketing choice to open and show the device for the masses use case, and then at other convention and later in
Yeah,
the year they will
maybe.
release more use case for different convention specific for that area of expertise. We'll see.
Mm-mm.
That,
Yeah.
that will make sense. They
One
still have time to do that.
Yeah, one thing that I'm also curious about very quickly is so for iOS, when we publish an app on iOS, it's tested, and there are like restrictions. You cannot do as much as can be on Android, and like for safety and quality reasons. So I wonder, well, first, how this will be done for the apps that will be published on the Vision Pro, and what kind of um, limitations Apple will put on developers, not technological limitations, but on the app themselves, like you cannot do this and this and this. Um,
Shoot
so
a video in public space.
yeah, yeah. So very curious to know that because uh, it can have very high consequences for us as we create applications for this.
Mm.
Okay, so we are way past our usual time, but it was a special week and special announcement that we've been waiting for quite some time. But yeah, I guess we'll be talking about this in the next episode as well. So thank you both for your very interesting insight on this, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Till next week.
Yeah,
Thanks.
see you guys.